My name is Charlotte Van Horn. I am the founder and CEO of Black Expats in Panama. And we own Black Expats or BEIP tours as well. We do cultural relocation tours to Panama 9 months out the year, where we bring Black people primarily from North America, the US, to explore Panama and to see what options there are for living here, particularly in the city and surrounding the city and also a beach area. We also expose you to the Afro-Panamanian culture here, which makes our tours a little bit unique and very, very rewarding. Usually by the time people leave here, they are connected to Panama. They understand, appreciate, and respect the Black culture here and the contributions of Afro-Panamanians throughout the country. It's just not something that you get on a regular tour. So that went so well that I really got the desire to share the world with North Americans. Sometimes being from the United States, where they have told us our entire lives that was just the best place to be in the world. Ain't nowhere else you'd ever want to be. I think that we have believed that. I know that I believed it for a very long time. Okay. Until I started to get out. And when I first experienced Panama and really started testing some of the so-called facts that we were getting. Everybody, please mute, please. Thank you. I couldn't find the mute all button. But anyway, so I take Black people to other countries to explore Black history in those places and get us connected to the diaspora. And so when you're talking about Black history and Black places, I mean, it don't get no more better than Africa, right? So I took a group to Egypt, and some of them are actually going to be coming to Ghana with us as well. We've been to Colombia, we've been to Belize, we've been to Cuba, and so I'm excited to go to Ghana. Now, going to the continent is like a whole different experience. So, of course, I definitely need to tap into the best of the best of the best of the best, because you know how we roll. We can't be doing nothing crazy, because if you know, like I know, we are the hardest critics on each other. Like, girl, don't fool with her. She be messing up. That's why I'm fool with Black businesses. Y'all know we do it. And so I have found a brother who is like-minded like me, because Jay Cameron is about the experience, he's about the culture, he's about the knowledge, and he knows us because we is us, okay? And he is definitely about excellence. We had some good choices that I could have gone with to take us to Ghana, but Jay is just by far the best. And guess what? We deserve the best. Was talking to some friends the other day, and I really like their philosophy on life. She was like, we do good, better, best. And I'm like, yes. When you in that when you in that best category, you're really cooking the gas. And that's where I want us to be always. So we always want to provide a good, positive, amazing experience. So I'll introduce Jay. Jay Cameron is the owner of Maximum Impact Travel, and he has taken, I believe, like over 1,000 people to Ghana. So he has a bit of a track record, okay? In addition to that, Jay is well known. His tours have amazing reviews. He actually came and hung out with me in Panama for New Year's, beginning of this year for 2024. And I didn't even know. We chatted a little bit, but who knew that by the end of this year that we would be doing this amazing thing together. So I'm just excited to have him. Before I bring him up, I just want you to know that he is going to give us the information that we need about Ghana. A couple of things that I want to say is that, as you know, the first tour sold out immediately. I mean, pretty much 5 days in, and it was gone. So hey, cool, happy about that. It created a little bit of an issue. People, man, I was getting hate mail and everything. So I was like, Jay, what I'm gonna do? So we decided that it would be possible for us to do a second tour the following month. So I will be going to Ghana twice next year. And I'm excited about it. I'll be resting up for it all until then. So tonight, everybody is on the call. There's everybody who has signed up for the tour, whether it's Ghana 1, Ghana 2, you are on the call tonight. You've been invited to the call. Beyond this, we may split up and just have our individual groups like group 1 and group 2. The reason that I did Ghana 1 and Ghana 2 was because I refused to have 2 buses. That is like the main thing. I just didn't want so many people that you would have a bus A and a bus B, because we don't roll like that. We roll together. We are family, and I want us all to share the same experience. Because, baby, if you know, like I know, and if you've been on any other my tours, the bus be the business, baby. And so I don't want the bus B to be jealous of the bus A. You know what I'm saying? And so we like to keep the family together and keep the experience so that we all share it together. It makes it so extra nice. So we may break up at some point to do that. The payment plan is so far everybody is very happy with that. And you should have plenty of time to space it out. We will keep you abreast. Yay, here comes Karen. We'll keep you abreast of things going on. And I'm not going to talk all night because Jay has important information to share with us. And so without further ado, drum roll, I'm going to turn this over to this black man playing. Hey, Jay.
What's going on, Charlotte? How you doing?
How's everyone? Doing good.
Well, I am so excited to be able to share with the family. And that's what I always say, the family, because you all are joining us in Ghana. And it's so important because you all have already discovered what's going on in Panama. And Panama is an important part of the African diaspora. We have quite a bit of time ahead of this trip. And the key to the success with this is everybody really staying focused. And when I say staying focused, being excited about what's coming up, because you're going to go on the trip of a lifetime. As Charlotte said before, for many of you have already been to Egypt, which is a very different part of Africa, because a lot of times when people hear Africa, they think of just one big landmass and everybody's doing the same thing and everybody's thinking the same way, everybody's eating the same food, everybody's dressing the same way. When in actuality, Africa, the continent, has 54 different countries, thousands of different languages, thousands of different ethnic groups, all types of shades, complexions, fashions. It's a very diverse continent. And so you're going to be visiting within one of the most diverse parts of Africa, West Africa, Ghana. And within Ghana, you have many different ethnic groups and many different languages. So you'll have a chance to experience several of those ethnic groups and those languages and cultures. And so that's a beautiful part about it. And I think that's what's going to, one, be excited about that. But tonight, what I want to do is to help everyone just get prepared in your mind for what you're going to experience. So my favorite saying, and this is what I say for any international travel, is to leave America in America. You are going to the continent of Africa. You're going to the country of Ghana, inside of the continent of Africa. And so they do things differently, they flow differently, they think differently, they operate differently, although there are a lot of similarities. When you get there, you'll probably see someone who looks like a relative of yours, an auntie, an uncle, a grandparent. You might see someone who looks like you. And so that's the thing. So while you'll see the differences, there are going to be a lot of similarities. The other thing I want everybody to understand, and I'll reiterate this as we get ready for these 2 amazing experiences in Ghana, is to pack your patience. So like y'all know how it is in the US, when we go someplace, we go to a restaurant, they bring the food out immediately or within 15 minutes, they're hopping, jumping, skipping, making sure everything is on point. Well, when you get to Ghana, I can tell you like this, just get ready to pack your patience, because they cook the order. They're not waiting for us to show up with the food, to buy the food. It's like, all right, you get there. What do you want? I want the fish, or what vegan and vegetarians, you'll be fine. Don't worry. We think that through on the front end. You might want whatever the dish is. Well, it might take you about 30 minutes or so. So so what we try to make sure you do is you don't go and get hangry. So so we encourage you to have snacks. We make sure you have plenty of water. We make sure that you're comfortable. Of course, when you get there, these are things we just don't want you to have to think about. Worrying about your accommodations, worrying about your transportation, worrying about how things are going to be handled, because this is what we do, and we make sure that it's done well in advance. And once you arrive, you'll be well taken care of. And that's the beautiful part about this collaboration with Charlotte, because this is something that she wants to do. She wants to expand her business and her company and what she's offering her community to other places around the world. Right now, I'm in Brazil. And so in Brazil, so y'all put that check mark in there. Charlotte, y'all put that check mark in there. I'm in Brazil because this is an important part of our history. So of course, Africa, going to the continent and going to the different places is important, but other places as well, just like what you're doing in Panama. And I think it's a wonderful thing, because you're giving our folks options, and you're taking folks outside of the bubble, and they're starting to see. And now we're just expanding that bubble, and that's what you see happening, and that's what you're going to be a part of. And you'll be getting a lot of information from us as we prepare you. Once you hit the ground in Ghana, you'll feel like you've already been there as far as preparation is concerned, and all you need to do is focus on a couple things. Like I said, for everyone, just to keep in mind, you want to leave America in America. So does everybody have that? That's the thing. That the biggest thing I want everybody to note, when you step off the plane, say, I am no longer in America. I'm not looking for America. One of the biggest disservices we do to ourselves is we go to foreign countries and expect them to do and think and flow like how we flow. I remember a story recently of a lady who went to Spain, and she was upset because no one spoke English in Spain. I was like, "What? You went to Spain?" so that's a part of how we get you prepared. Now, they do speak English in Ghana. Let me just be very clear. That was a former British colony, and their official national language is English, but they do speak Twi. That's another local language. They speak Ga. They speak Ewe. So they have different languages. But as far as you being able to communicate, you will not have a problem. As far as currency is concerned, you will not be able to use the US dollar on the street. So you convert your money to the Ghanaian cedi, which is easy. We make sure you get to the currency exchange so you can exchange the currency. So currently right now, the exchange rate is 14-1. Now, I don't know what it's going to be like next year. I've seen it fluctuate. When I first went to Ghana in 2018, it was 4.5-1. I've seen it as high as 15-1. So it just depends on what the economy is doing. For those who like pepper in their food, meaning spice, the heat, y'all know what I'm talking about, like that Jamaican heat, they have that in Ghana, plenty of it, probably more so than what they have in Jamaica. But the beautiful part about it is you can let folks know to tone down the heat. You don't need all of the heat, and so they can do that for you. The way we set up your food options is that you get 70% familiar food. So I know us. I know what we like. I know what we don't like. And I know we like to eat. If any of y'all out there like to eat, please put a 1 in the chat. Y'all like to eat. Yeah, we all like to eat. But if y'all like to really get down and eat, then that's something that we think through, and we make sure that you have the different options and the different restaurants to go to. So where you feel like, you know what, I've had the experience, the Ghanaian food, the wache, the banku, the fufu, the jollof rice, all of those different things. But at the same time, we know everybody's system is not ready to be thrown into 12 feet of water worth of Ghanaian food at one time. Now, if you want to eat as much Ghanaian food as you want to, cool. But we also recognize that folks this may be their first time on the continent. This may be their first time having this experience. So we want it to be enjoyable. Your safety is number one. Your comfort is number two. And then you get a chance to get immersed into all of the different experiences there on the ground. So if you like fashion, you get a chance to have that. All the shoppers out there, for those who like to shop, guess what? You'll be able to shop till you drop. I've watched people pick up 2 and 3 suitcases worth of extra items because that's what they wanted to do. They were shipping items back using DHL or Ghana Post, because they were like, listen, I don't know if I'm coming back this way. So let me, make the most of this experience. And that's what you'll have a chance to do. Now, as far as some of the preliminaries, what you need to start working on now for Ghana, what you're going to need is a passport. So if you don't have your passport, I know there are many seasoned travelers here as a part of the group. But for some people, this is your first time. So now is the time to go and start working on your passport. Yes, it's a year and some change away, but still go ahead and get that passport in the works. Ghana does require you to get a visa, and you cannot get that visa until 90 days before your trip. So we'll walk you through the visa process. Hopefully by then, they might not need a visa. We'll see. But as of today, you're going to need a visa to go to Ghana. We'll walk you through the steps and how you go about getting that visa. And we'll make sure that, Charlotte, we get together and we have these meetings along the way. And I know that you all have a great community, and you being in communication with Charlotte, and she'll be able to answer a lot of the questions. And if she can't, then she'll definitely reach out to our team and we'll get the answers for you. So now, the day that you should arrive, the day you should arrive is the start of your tour. So that's the deal. And a lot of times people ask about the flights. What are the best ways to get to Ghana? JFK, Delta has a flight that flies out regularly out of JFK in New York, direct into Accra. It's about a 10-hour flight. So you can get that JFK Delta, just check with Delta to see what the flights are. Or you can fly out of Dulles in DC. United has a flight that flies direct to Accra in Ghana. You want to arrive about midday. And the reason why we say midday, that's between 12 and 3, is because you want to arrive as close to check-in time as possible. And that way you can go through customs at the airport. The other thing to make sure that you note is that you don't have to worry about being picked up from the airport. We'll make sure that you're picked up from the airport. We'll make sure that you're dropped off at the airport when it's time for you to leave. So once you get there, we got you. That's the deal. And we take great care of you, and make sure that you don't have to worry. And all of those things that we've heard over the years, they're going to get you in Africa. They're going to kidnap you in Africa. They don't like you over there. When you get over there, they're not going to like you. These are some of the nicest people I've ever encountered in my life. I never felt unsafe in any place that I've been in Africa. Up in Egypt, they hustle pretty hard, but I didn't feel unsafe. And they hustle in Ghana too, but they don't hustle quite the same way they do in Egypt. But we'll prepare you for the hustle. There's a way to deal with it. And then also, folks on the ground, they know. I told them, I said, I don't want you hustling my folks like that. So I'm very protective of those who are coming with the family. That's the deal. I make sure that everybody is clear on the ground, and I encourage everyone to support them. I encourage everyone, if you want to buy something, buy local, and make sure you support their efforts, because they do work hard. And in many cases, they aren't given the opportunities that they deserve. And you'll see it and you'll understand it. When it comes to, again, I talked about the fashion, you'll see fabrics. You'll have an opportunity if you want to buy fabric and take it back. You can do that. If you want to buy the different artwork and pictures and paintings and all those different things, you'll have a chance to do it right there in Ghana. You'll learn about the history. That's something that is huge, because there's a lot of history that's relevant. You'll get a chance to go to the slave dungeons in Cape Coast, and you'll have a chance to see and walk and be in the space many of our ancestors were in before they were taken from that part of the world and brought to places like Brazil and to Haiti and to Jamaica and to the United States and Canada and the UK and France and other places. So you'll have a chance to stand in those spaces and learn about it from that side of the world. That's the deal, because there's one piece of history that we get in the US that is void of what happened in that part of the world. So you'll get a chance to experience it firsthand for yourself and learn about it firsthand. And again, the nightlife, for those who like to party, we're going to make sure, because I was there New Year's Eve in Panama. I saw how y'all get down in Panama. So I know I got Charlotte gave me the word, so I was like, all right, we got this covered. Don't worry. And each day, our goal is to make sure that you encounter just a little bit more so that when you go back to your family and friends, they're excited. You send the pictures to them, whether you post it on your Facebook or your Instagram, or you send in emails or text messages, or however you communicate with your family and friends. They're able to say, all right, I enjoy, I'm glad to see that you've done this. And now I want to experience it for myself. And so that's how we really inspire change within our own communities and families. And that's, again, what you'll be a part of. Now, another thing to make note of is when it comes to talked about the passport, you need a passport book, not a passport card. That's not going to do you any good going internationally abroad, across into Africa, any part of Africa. You can't use a passport card. So you want to get your passport book. We talked about the visa. And when we talk about the vaccinations, this is how, because I remember coming along, everybody was like, oh man, I need to get 12 shots to go to Africa. I didn't even want to go to Africa after people started talking like that. And they were giving bad information. That's the bottom line. They were giving bad information. The only vaccination that Ghana requires, and I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna walk y'all down how this works, because for those who don't want to do vaccination, I'm gonna tell you how to navigate that. The only one that they require is the yellow fever. That's it. You don't need a COVID vaccination. You don't need what's it? All the typhoid, hepatitis, all the different things that they try to sell when you go into the place. All Ghana requires is yellow fever. And if you have a medical exemption from your doctor, you don't even have to do that. So if your doctor says, hey, you know what? You don't need to take that particular vaccination. You get a letter from a certified, legitimate doctor, then that's one way that you can navigate without even the yellow fever. So yellow fever is the only one that's required. And then the medical exemption for those who don't want to do it. Malaria pills are recommended. They're highly recommended, but they're not required because you're going to a tropical region. That's the other part. It's a tropical region. So the malaria pills are recommended. And that's it. That's it. So again, if somebody says, oh, I got to take 10 shots to go to Africa, I got 10 shots to go to Ghana, a lot of these places will try to upsell you on getting all of it. And before you know it, you get 10 different vaccinations, and now you spent $2,000 and you didn't even need it. So these are things, of course, go talk to your medical professional, talk to your doctor, because everybody's health conditions may be different, but go talk to your doctor and say, hey, I'm looking to go to Ghana. Ghana just requires this. What do you think? And then have that conversation. And it's really that easy as far as going to Ghana. And again, we highly recommend getting travel insurance, cancel any reason as soon as possible. That's another part of it as well. Many of you have just signed up, so we recommend doing this to protect yourself and to protect your investment. Again, I've seen it time and time again. Someone will spend the amount of money that you're spending for the trip, and they won't want to spend a few dollars to protect themselves abroad. So let me give it to you like this. Let's say you go to, I'll use some place close by. Let's say Mexico or DR. Those are very popular trips. Let's say you go there and you get sick. It could be anything. You could, maybe you're dealing with, high blood pressure, diabetes, maybe complications, some pre-existing conditions that you already have. And then you need to be hospitalized. Here's where many of us mess up. And this is what happened. A lady right now, she's dealing with this down in the DR. She went on a cruise and she had to go to a hospital in the DR. And because she did not have travel insurance with medical, she now has to come out of pocket to pay for all of her medical expenses. They want to medevac her back to the US. It's supposed to be a $28,000 flight. And she's sitting there in the hospital in the DR, like thousands of dollars per day that's adding up as long as she stays in this hospital, and she doesn't have any means to pay. So now her daughter has been, trying to get Cash App donations and all these other kind of things together. It has put the family in a very interesting position. And I've heard the story also, a couple on a cruise in Mexico, same thing happened. What we say is get that travel insurance and we can give you all a link to where you can check around and see the different options. As a matter of fact, let me pull this up for you so you can just see what's available. And by doing that, you are protecting your investment, and by protecting your investment and protecting yourself. So let's say, for example, you get cancel any reason insurance, then that means, and I'm gonna put this in the chat so everyone can see it. Here is the link. There you go. I encourage you to do that. This is part of the preparation, and this is why one of the reasons why Charlotte wanted to work with us, because we don't have you flying blind in these international streets. We're not just having you out here just, okay, come on this trip and not preparing you for it. You never know when anything is going to happen. So when you have the travel insurance, cancel any reason, the link is in the our chat right now. And you can take a look. We don't sell travel insurance. It's just something that you can investigate for yourself and see for yourself, but just knowing we're concerned about your safety and your well-being and want you to have a great time. We don't want, in our culture, in our community, international travel was almost like a taboo thing for a lot of parts of our community. A lot of folks wouldn't travel anywhere. They wouldn't leave their, 50 miles outside of their geographical, the radius of their home. But now what the pandemic did was people started waking up and saying, I'm not just going to stay in this bubble. I'm going to live. I'm going to travel. I'm going to see the world. And so Panama introduced a lot of folks to international travel. And by going, and they say, wow, I'm having a blast down here. A lot of people moving to Panama. But now they're saying, you know what? I want to at least, now I have a new home in Panama. Now I can go travel the world and see some other places. This is just one piece. I strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to make that investment. Let's say things change to, as life happens and you aren't able to go on the trip. Well, that's how you're able to file a claim and perhaps, recoup a lot of your, what you've spent towards the trip. Everybody, international travel insurance, it should be tops on the list. And by doing that, you will be able to protect your financial integrity and not find yourself in a situation where you have these extreme expenses as a result of not having it. So I've kind of got on my soapbox. I'm gonna get off the soapbox with the travel insurance, but I'll talk about it again. The link is there, and you can take a look at it and see how you can sign up for it, and do it quickly. Please do not procrastinate on the travel insurance, because there are time frames that you have in order to take advantage of the cancel any reason or some of the different travel insurance offerings. So please do not delay. Check with your own travel insurance. You may already have the option. Check with your own health insurance. They may cover you internationally. So check with them and see. If they don't, and make sure you read the terms and understand the terms and conditions, because that's another major part. So you don't get a surprise. So don't go and say, oh, I thought y'all were gonna, say, no, read it, understand it, and then you'll be sure to cover yourself. All right, so let's see. So these are the major areas that I like to cover. I want to see some people ask, is there going to be a lot of walking? There is a considerable amount of walking, but it's not like the Egypt trip where we're getting like 10,000 steps a day, but it's manageable for just about everybody. We've had folks from the ages of 3 to 93 join us. And so I've seen folks well into their 80s, into their 70s, go to Ghana with no problem. And so you just prepare for it. And that's in understanding there is some walking involved. How much extra money do you need to go on a trip? To survive, $300 will get you by, right? But I know we got some shoppers out there. I know y'all like to test different things, I get it. So I would recommend bringing at least $500 extra. We're talking about almost a year and a half from now. So, kind of put a little bit in the piggy bank. I don't know what's in the piggy bank, right? Took you back. Put a little bit to the side and you'll be good to go. The other, I'm just kind of going through my notes here. Oh, yeah, wow, I've covered a lot of territory. We'll be reiterating this again, just so you know, you will not be going to Ghana flying blindly. You will be well taken care of. Step by step, you'll be able to see and have the encounter. Let me see here. All right, there we go. The screen is kind of small. You may not be able to see it very well. If you zoom in, you'll be able to get it. But just to let you know that I'm just picking one of the trips. When you arrive, you're going to be picked up from the airport, and you're going to look for the sign that says maximum impact, and we'll make sure that you are getting ready for the welcome dinner that evening. So, and that is at a very nice location. We will surprise you. You'll enjoy it. And you will definitely have a chance to meet everyone, and I'm sure everybody along the way you'll have a chance to meet everyone. And this is going to be the same for both trips. So just know you might see the one date up there, but it's going to be the same for both trips. So when you get up the next morning, you'll have a chance to get breakfast, and then you will do the Accra city tour. And that's when you're going to go to see the Jamestown. You get a chance to go to the Afro-Brazilian community. You'll also get a chance to go to the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum and W.E.B. Du Bois. You get a chance to eat at a local restaurant. And then that evening, we'll bring it back around and it'll be more familiar foods. Again, that's just something to make note of. You're also going to get your Akan naming ceremony where you will get your Akan name. And that's you're going to get your sash. You're going to have all of that. It's going to be a really, really nice ceremony. You'll have your batik class. So you'll learn about that. That's something that folks are really familiar with in Ghana. And you'll get a chance to participate in that as well as create your own batik expression, the fabric, and the whole nine. Then you're going to have some time to unwind. We're not going to run you ragged. So on day 4, you'll get a chance to rest and relax. And then for some of you, you will be able to get out and about and go different places. You're going to make sure that you get to one of the boutiques, ABA Luxe Beauty Boutique. You'll get a chance to do that. And for those who are interested in the spas and all of that, you'll get a chance to participate in that if you're interested in doing that. Let's see. On day 5 is when you'll get to go to Asanmanso, that's Slave River, and then you'll go to Cape Coast Dungeon and Elmina Dungeon and learn about that history. And then you'll get ready to head back. That's a day trip. So this day is going to be a long day. So I'll just let you know it's going to be a long, long day, but it is well worth it. And you will be well hydrated, well fed, and well taken care of on day 5. And then let's see here. All right. So then for those who are interested in participating in the chocolate class, chocolate making in that whole experience, then that'll be happening on day 6. We're going to give everybody a chance to kind of wind down a little bit also because it is going to be a busy day. But for those who are interested in the optional chocolate class, and then for those who want to go to the Ebury Botanical Gardens, that's something that will be available also. And again, this is all in the itinerary, and it spells it all out. You get a chance to now go to, on day 7, go to Shy Hills Reserve and have lunch at the Royal Century Resort and take the boat cruise. It's about an hour cruise there on Lake Volta. Then on day 8, you'll go to the art and fashion design tour. So all of this is going to be a part of it and just kind of scrolling through so everybody can kind of see. Then after day 8 is when you will head back to your home. So again, we're going to go through this again. I just wanted to run it down for you for those who may be watching a little bit later. But it is a comprehensive, full experience, well-rounded experience, 5-sensory experience, all senses, taste, touch, smell, sight, sound, all of that is going to be a part of your journey to Ghana. So I am excited about you all being a part of this experience, and I can tell you all are excited about it. But guess what? We're preparing you. That's why we're having this conversation a whole year and some change in advance, so that you don't have any surprises. We are not about the surprises. Just like Charlotte said, I know my folks. I know my folks, and I know my folks. And so I believe this is something I believe in. I believe in making sure that we have the very best. And when I say that, meaning the best experiences, because I know how we've been robbed of experiences. And I know, and when I say that from the standpoint of there are a lot of hidden gems in the world that we don't know about. And for many in our culture, you know, we just think that work, work, work. I'm working to the weekend. You know, Johnny Kemp said just got paid Friday night. You know, that's what we're ready for. You know, we were just to work weekend, you know, party jumping, and Vontel said it too, you know. so it's a part of our anthem. But everybody else is living around the world. Everybody else is seeing and encountering all of these different cultures and experiences. And now it's our time. And many of our ancestors, they didn't get the opportunity to do it. They didn't have the resources to do it. They didn't even have the mindset to do it. But today we have the resources, the opportunity. We have the ability to do it, and not only doing it for ourselves, but doing it for our families, where we can pass this down so the next generation doesn't wait 30, 40, 50 years to start traveling. The next generation isn't afraid to get outside of the bubble. So it's much more than a trip to Ghana or a trip to Panama or a trip to Egypt. We are the trailblazers. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We're the ones who have the responsibility, because you have already put your money down to take this trip. It's much bigger than the trip. And so I hope you all get excited or continue to stay excited. And then when life happens, you stay focused. You say, you know what? I'm going on this trip. I don't care. Y'all can cut up and act the fool and do whatever y'all want to do. I'm going on this trip to Ghana because there's something across that water for me to learn and see. And not only for that, but to bring back so that others can have the experience as well. So Charlotte, I'm excited. I know some folks might have some questions. So please ask this. You know, I'm here to answer any questions, and we'll be doing this along the way. So let's dive into some of that.
Let me and we do have some questions, but I'm gonna be courageous, and I'm trying to do something here. So just hang on a second. It's like
do you think
maybe 3 minutes. Okay, let's see what we can do.
Do you think?
Can y'all see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, let's see if you can.
Yes.
Things that you can do. For more than 500 years, there's been an intentional effort to separate those who descend from the continent of Africa from the continent of Africa. Through education, finances, religion, culture, this divide has spread throughout the world.
The educational system is the greatest propagator of that and the greatest poisoner of the minds, not only of African people who have a negative image of themselves, but non-African people who have a negative image of African people.
The American system was created so they can have workers. There is a story that's been sold to the rest of the world about Africa.
It's fed both ways. They're feeding us, oh, they're living in villages with big bellies and flies, and they're feeding, oh, they're just rappers and they're killing each other. And
it's bad that we have so many Europeans now visiting Africa than actually our own black people. Again, information, those Europeans, they know about Africa, but I want people in the United States, for example, to not know about Africa.
It hurts me so much to hear that we sold them into slavery. And so when I'm here and they come, then I say the devil is a liar. Why? Because, you know, they will know the truth.
They try to kill my soul. Don't want to see me
46-year-old George Floyd was choked by a cop digging into his
I'm unstoppable. Still I'm unstoppable.
I had to make a decision to understand the truth, to understand the information that perhaps someone did not want me to know. What it began for me was a journey and a search for the truth, to create a different legacy for my children. Education is so important, and knowing the history beyond what they teach us in the U.S., and they didn't teach me much of anything. That's why I apologize to you and your brothers for putting y'all in that school system, because it wasn't right.
I want young people to see in the U.S. and these places, right? I really want them to begin to grow up seeing Africa as central to their future, it's central to their opportunities, it's central to their safety, it's central to their being.
And let them know that this is who you are, be proud of who you are, and embrace it all.
Every agenda that's been pushed on us, it's time to destroy that and create our own narrative as people of color, as diasporans, and as the new Africans.
People need to see the world. They need to get on a plane, get in a car, go outside of your comfort zone, because when you go somewhere else, you understand people more. You can be more empathetic in certain situations because you know where they're coming from, and you can learn about yourself.
When I see my brothers from the diaspora come, it warms my heart so much. It makes me so happy.
And when you come here, it's not just a slavery story, it's when we were kings and still are kings.
As long as Africa is disrespected, we cannot enjoy our full potential as an individual of African descent until Africa itself is respected.
When I came to Ghana and discovered how much I was not taught, I realized the importance of educating myself. This is where it all began. This is where my life changed. This is where I began to discover who I was. And I want to take you on that journey with me. Well, all right.
See, I'm fancy. Now, let me see.
You did all right. You did all right, Charlotte. Let me find out.
Okay, please send the link. The link that what you just saw is in that video. So under that handsome picture of Jay, there's a video to that. It's a link to that video. And you can also follow Maximum Impact Travel, Jay, on the YouTube channel, right?
Yes, yes.
So now we on the floor for questions. Jay, thank you so much for that information. I think it all kind of puts us all kind of, just makes us more excited, but then also puts us more at ease because we know that, and that you are going to lead us in the right direction. So that's awesome. So one of the things that I saw come up in the questions, and you all can put your questions in the chat, and just raise your hand if you want to ask a question, but one of them was about Atlanta. Do you know about any Atlanta direct flights?
I do not know about any direct flights from Atlanta to Accra, Ghana. That's, I don't know of any. I would recommend Google Flights just to check. The primary ones are from New York and DC. And so what most people do is they'll fly to or drive or however they decide to do it to DC or New York. So seems like that Delta one is popular. Yeah.
JFK but Google and Delta is the most popular, and then Dulles goes direct with United.
Yes, and now there are other ones that don't go directly. So like Emirates has one. Some people take advantage of the Dubai layover. So they'll catch Emirates and fly to Dubai and do the layover in Dubai and then go to Ghana, and they can do that on both ends. So that's just for those who maybe want a little bit more adventurous. Check to see if Emirates is still offering that Dubai layover, and then Ethiopian does it too. But you're flying really across the continent to come back, so it just depends on how you want to do it. I've done both, so that's why I do know it exists. But it's go ahead.
So I'm saying, so about how long is the flight from New York to Accra?
10 hours. 10 hours.
Okay.
And that's 10 hours. And I tell everybody for the long flights, I'm gonna confess something to y'all, and you're not gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe it. I'm no longer ashamed to tell it because I got over 500,000 miles under my belt now. But I used to be afraid to fly, and I did not get on a long flight. I was like, "What in the world is going on?" Yeah, and it took me years. It took me years to decide that I was going to do it, and it was so bad in 2016, right? 2016 wasn't that long ago. 2016, I didn't want to fly to Miami to get on a cruise into Miami, so I decided to drive. I'm from DC, so I drove from DC to Baltimore to get the cruise out of Baltimore to go to Bermuda because I didn't want to fly.
Wow!
And by the time 2016 came around, I said, This is another little known secret. I did an experiment in 2016. I drove for Uber. This is really this funny. I drove for Uber, and when I was doing the Uber experiment, the driver told me one day that his brother made $20,000 a month working for Uber, and I was like, "What?" So I said, "I'm gonna try and hit this $20,000." But really, what happened? I started picking people up from all over the world, and they were from all parts of Africa: Zimbabwe, South Africa. I believe Ghana might have been in there. But one day I picked up a lady from Ethiopia, and she started schooling me on all the different parts of Ethiopia. And she's like, "You'll love Ethiopia." And all I remember about Ethiopia was, sick children
Hungry
with the
people.
yeah, that's all I thought about. And she said, "No." She said, "No, Ethiopia, you need to go and you need to see." And I was like, wow. And I met people from Zimbabwe, and they were telling me about their foods, and they were telling me all these wonderful things, and it just kind of piqued my curiosity. And so that's why I decided in 2018 I had to get off of the scared train and get on a plane. And I did it with fear and trembling. And I was nervous and concerned. And I went on Google Earth looking to see what I scanned over Accra. And I was waiting to look and see all the people hungry in the streets and sick. And I looked over and I saw these swimming pools and these mansions. And I said, "What in the world?" I said, "What?" And I looked down, I put the street view on. I said, now what is going on?" And I said, "I'm going to Accra, Ghana." And when I got off the plane, I said, wow. I said, "It didn't tell the whole story." I said, "Yeah, I did see some places, just like you go to some parts of LA, you got tent cities, and you go to some parts of Baltimore and DC and other areas. You see areas where there's a lot of poverty." But I got off that plane in Ghana, and I looked around, and they told me nobody was going to like me, and the people were so accommodating and so helpful. And I was really ashamed of myself because I listened to all of this nonsense all of these years. And so I had to get on that plane in order to have that experience. And I had to overcome the fear, and I just put a strategy together. I said, "I'm gonna get on the plane and I'm gonna break this up into 4 movies. By the time I fly, take off, I'm sure they're gonna feed me." So they fed us within about an hour and a half. And then I watched 4 movies. And next thing you know, I'm landing. And that was it. So for those who are concerned about that long flight, maybe you've never done it before, maybe you're afraid, sometimes you just got to push through the fear. You just got to do it. And guess what? That was the beginning. And now I've flown all over the world. I've been on the plane 13 hours straight from this place, 16 hours straight from South Africa back over. I'd get on a plane like it's nothing. Somebody said, "Jay, now you get on planes like you catching Ubers." I said, "That's right. I'm free. I'm gonna see the whole world. I'm making up for lost time." So that's the deal. 10 hours.
I agree. I agree. And the other thing that I learned when I took the flight to Egypt, that was the longest. But the experience wasn't the same. It's like if you're thinking about, a commercial flight in the US, it just had the seats were bigger, the accommodations were nicer. I was on Turkish Airlines. They had poopery in the bathroom. They had like this entire kit of things to cover your eyes and slippers and toothbrush, and it was a whole different experience. So that part. So Jay, on the DC end, is it about the same time? 10 hours
Yes.
coming from
Yeah. Absolutely, because if you think about it, from DC to New York and then they'll speed plane up. They can shave time off, and really sometimes it's like 9 hours and some change too, just depending on the flight pattern and what the tailwinds or headwinds are doing. But it's typically just put 10 hours in your mind and you'll be good to go.
Okay, and talking about US dollars. Charlotte is saying in Cuba they didn't want their currency, which we experienced that too. So I wonder if it's the same in Ghana. So you're saying when you said 14 to 1, did you mean like 14 US dollars to 1?
No. $1 US to 14 Ghana cedis.
Right.
And they prefer their currency.
They prefer their currency. Okay.
Yes, especially on the local level. Mm-hmm. There are maybe 1 or 2 places that might take US dollars, but you want to have those CDs. They will accept Visa and MasterCard a lot of places. What I encourage everybody to do is to have a combination, have US dollars, large bills, meaning $100 or $50 bills, so you can get a better conversion rate. And then you don't want it to be older than 2013. So you don't want it to be past in 2012, 2010. You don't want that because those are considered old. They might not accept it. Again, this is part of our culture training, and we'll walk you through it. But you want those US dollars to convert, and then you convert them to Ghanaian cedis, that's CEDIS. And then you'll be good to go on the local level. And even when you're going to, other places for shopping, and you'll be prepared for it. And we're there to walk you through the whole process. So the team is there. We're excited to assist you in making sure that you get everything that you need done. So no worries there.
Yeah, walking around the plane, I saw a lot of people doing that. When we were on the flight to Egypt, they would get up and stretch their legs and things like that on a bigger flight. And I think the aisles were even bigger. It's just a different experience. So I think that was the most pleasant thing that I noticed. Now, you mentioned not waiting until the last minute to start dealing with the whole insurance situation. So now, like, what is the timelines for that? Like, this is very early. One thing I like about this trip is very early. So what would be your recommended, you need to start dealing with this by time?
I would deal with it now because it's not very expensive. Yes.
Okay.
And I would do it now, get it out of the way, because the closer you get, the more expensive it becomes. So that's why, and again, you can kind of go through the different options and see what works for you. And I mean, you're talking, for most people, it's less than $100, to get this secured. Yeah. So it's, and I say, don't wait, because what'll happen is you'll forget about it. And then you'll get down to the end. Oh man, 2 weeks out, I got to get this travel insurance. And now you're like, whoa, what could have been $80 is now even more, so I would say try to go ahead and do that as soon as possible, and taking advantage of it. And again, and this is just something you can replay and share over and over, because one thing that helps is when you're prepared. When you get there and you know that you've done what you need to do, and you're not wondering, and you're like, you know what, I'm already committed to making this thing happen, and just taking that extra step along the way will make you feel a whole lot more secure, and you just be ready. That's the bottom line. For our people, we like to be. It's good for us to be ready. Because oftentimes we get caught in scenarios where we're not ready. That's where the GoFundMe come from, and the Cash App. Send me some money. So what we're saying is, on the front end, go ahead. It's again, compared to the investments that you're making, this is small. And it is so worth it, because you don't have to worry about it down the line.
Well, I'm glad that you gave that information, because I was under the impression last time I got travel insurance that I had to give airline flight information. So you don't have the flight information yet, but you can still get the insurance early. Okay.
Absolutely.
And the weather in October is like.
Oh, it's starting this. This is going into, for Ghana, it's always going to be in your 80s at a minimum. But going into October, and it'll be in your 80s in October as you head into November, because I know that part, you'll be now starting to warm up and getting up into the 90s. If you were there going in December and January and February, now you're high 90s. It's really, really hot. So it is warming up as they head into their summer, which is, so this is going to be like late spring. That's what October and November will feel like. Late spring, like May in the States, and that's what it's going to feel like in Ghana.
So Jody is asking, Jody, you spoiled. You're just a spoiled girl. I mean, spoiled guy. Jody is asking about washer and dryers. Jody and Ayana, I know it's Ayana put him up to it too. Asking about washers and dryers in the room. Look, y'all, we're going to be
out in the room.
Y'all, look, they get washers and dryers when they come on the tour here, which is really, really cool, because we get in a whole apartment, but I don't think they're going to give us that in the Marriott.
Well, not washer and dryer, but they do have a laundry service. They do have a laundry service.
Recommend bringing activated charcoal.
Sure, why not? I mean, if check with your doctor. I have some. We have one down the hole. Just in case. you have tummy challenges, just in case your stomach starts acting up. Activated charcoal can help reduce some of the challenges that might come along with that. The funny part in Zanzibar, they're the colobus monkeys. They can't eat sugar, but if they do somehow get a hold of some sugar, what they do is they eat charcoal. The monkeys eat charcoal to help settle their stomach.
Really?
That is, yes, that's in Zanzibar, out in Tanzania. So that's just an interesting fact that you learn through travels. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said colorless monkeys?
Oh, colobus, the colobus monkeys, not colorless.
Colobus. I said, okay,
colobus monkeys.
They got clear monkeys, y'all. They got clear. Now this is a good question too, because I think some people are starting to look for airline tickets. And it's probably a little early out. So
probably a little early, yes.
When do they usually start putting them out?
About 12 months out. 12 months. Keep checking, but 12 months is typically when they start. And sometimes it's better to really get them early because, before anybody's thinking about those dates. And the good thing is that those dates are good dates for Ghana because that's not prime time. If you try to do something in mid-December through early January, hang it up. But during that time, October, November, those are good times for the flight. So I'd say about 12 months out, you can start looking into it.
So we will work on that as it gets closer. We'll see how the pot looks. For those of you who are getting the double occupancy, thanks for bringing that up, Sharon. For those of you who have purchased the double occupancy, that's fine, as long as you're willing to be partnered with an appropriate roommate. If you don't want that, then you can have the option of a 445 upgrade to a single. And also, why I'm saying that, I don't know if I mentioned the switcheroo. If you guys need to switch around, if there was family members or friends that you wanted to come with you and you booked the first trip and there weren't any more spaces, and then you want to move to the second trip, I will allow reserved spaces to have the flexibility until June 15th. And then that's going to be that. Okay. That's going to be that. So if you have somebody that you want to switch up, I'm trying to mute. Who is this? Somebody just got on. I'm trying to mute you because you're coming up as a speaker. I don't know who that is. Okay. So I want you to know that. Okay. So please let me know. And if your friends, and if it's, just let me know. Holler at me if you need to make some adjustments, and we will be very flexible with that. Are there any other questions?
I saw a question about alcohol. Is alcohol sold or permitted? Alcohol is definitely sold.
Who said that? Who was it? Who was it, Jay?
It's Alicia.
I knew it. I knew it was her. I'm messing with you. Alicia want to know. Well, since she asked.
Definitely. Okay, you have some. Oh, you can definitely get your cocktails. They serve beer. They serve everything. They serve it all. They have your Jack. They have all of it. Your Henny. Anything you can. Everything. So there's no problems.
Wow. Excelente. Are there any other questions? I think we covered a lot in just over an hour, right, y'all? Is that right? What time is it?
Yeah, an hour.
Okay, good deal. Are there any other questions right now? Okay, Talisha has a comment. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, let me not be rude, turn my camera on. Oh, slow down. Okay. I was all comfortable, low down in the chair. I just want to say, for those who have global entry, that doesn't really apply going to Africa, so they don't get caught off guard. Put your patient shoes on. Because Ghana is not one of the countries under the global entry program.
Very good information.
Yes, I researched that. So you
mean you can't do TSA?
You can probably do it leaving the United States, but once you get to Ghana and have to do your passport clearance, you know how in Panama you could do the speedy one if you have your global entry.
No,
You could
I
do
never noticed that. I never noticed that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I get
Yeah,
it.
that was the whole reason why I went and got global entry, because we saw that last time with the coming from Panama to Miami and all of that.
Yeah,
it was.
Well, I didn't. Thank you for that information, Talisa, because when I come to Panama, I'm a permanent resident, so I don't have to go
Oh, you
through
don't do
the
all of
regular
that.
line. So I'm a global entry as well, but I didn't know that. So thank you, because I would be and I come back to Panama anyway. So thank you. That's good information. Gracias, señora.
The other thing I was just going to say, the reason why I say that about the 14 days is when you start researching your insurance, some of them, maybe not all the suppliers, but some of the suppliers want you to get the insurance within 14 days of making your deposit if you want pre-existing conditions covered medically. If you want medical pre-existing conditions. Now, if that's not an issue for you, well, then it don't matter. But some of the insurance suppliers do say for pre-existing conditions, they want it, 14 days after you make your deposit.
That's good. Thank you very much, Talisa. I'm gonna put in here, check on insurance right away, in case that is something that might apply to you. And so we definitely want to have that insurance because it's gonna be very important. Are there any other questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Hi, Keisha.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
That's good. As far as the yellow fever vaccination, is there like a time frame that you have to have it?
You want to have it at least a month before your trip, and it's lifetime, so you don't have to get a booster as of right now. Let me say that as of right now, you don't have to have a booster or anything like that. So you want to have it at least a month before your trip, and it is a lifetime vaccination as of today.
Okay, and the exemption as well. So if I get an exemption, that's also lifetime. Okay.
Well, as long as you have the exemption, and as long as it's their policy, right.
Understood.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? If we don't have any more questions, we can go ahead and adjourn. I think this was a really great meeting. I hope that everybody got a lot out of it. I know that I did. And I can be more comfortable, now and speaking to you and answering some questions. And Jay is like so attentive, even through all his travels. I think probably in the last couple of weeks that we've been talking about this, I don't know how many countries this brother been in. I don't know how he does it, but we're very, very blessed to have him. I'm super, super happy. And if there's nothing further, we can go ahead and adjourn. And I will send this video out so that you have it. And if you have any friends that are interested we have 15 tickets left for the second trip. And just to put that in the context, I'm selling 40 tickets per group. And so the first group sold out in 5 days. And the second group, I think we put up a little over a week ago. And we're down to 15 tickets. So once that group sells out, there will not be another trip added. Definitely not for 2025. And by the time I do Ghana twice in 2025, I'm gonna be trying to go to Brazil or somewhere.
That's right. Oh, y'all gonna love Brazil. I'm already telling you, y'all love Brazil. I'm setting this thing up. So.
We gotta talk. We gotta talk. So with that said, listen. Good night, guys. Thank you for being on the call, and thank you for trusting us with your time and giving us your business, because that's what it's about. Black-owned, operated businesses being supported by Black people is one of the most beautiful things I think we can ever do. Let's get it, y'all. Good night.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you,
Good night. See
everybody. Bye.
Bye.